The ballroom was filled with the clinking of glasses and bursts of laughter, but in the middle of the room, a hush fell around one woman. She stood motionless, her eyes wide with disbelief. A tray full of flutes and hors d'oeuvres had just been pressed into her hands by a sneering white attendant. "The drinks aren't going to serve themselves," the woman had said, loud enough for half the room to hear. "Be useful, will you?" Before we continue, if you are watching our video for the first time, please bless and support us by hitting that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to get notified for more, share to friends and loved ones who loves respect and justice no matter the cost. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story goes. To our constant viewers, commenters, and subscribers, thank you for being part of our growth. We appreciate you deeply. Now back to the story. Maya Coulson, CEO of Coulson Tech, and the woman holding the tray, stood still for a moment too long. The entire room had turned toward her. Her deep brown skin and sleek cream suit already made her stand out among the predominantly white, tuxedo-wearing elite of the Callaway family's annual gala. But now, holding that tray, she looked like staff. Except she wasn't. She was the reason most of those men had flown into New York. A $900 million technology deal sat in limbo, waiting on her signature. A deal that would revolutionize the digital security landscape of the Callaway's enterprise empire. Maya wasn't just a guest. She was the power in the room. But no one had seen it. Or maybe they had seen it and chosen not to acknowledge it. "She works here," someone whispered loudly, laughter bubbling after the question like acid. A few guests chuckled. Some stared, confused. Others stared in deliberate indifference, unwilling to be involved. The woman who handed her the tray, Veronica Callaway, wife of James Callaway Jr., tilted her head in mock innocence. "Oh dear, was I mistaken? You do work in hospitality, right?" Maya placed the tray gently on a nearby table, her face unreadable. Her fingers trembled, not from embarrassment, but from the tension she was swallowing whole. James Callaway Sr., the patriarch, finally stepped forward. "Veronica, I believe there's been a mistake." "There's been no mistake," Maya cut in, her voice calm, refined, but slicing. "There's just been an awakening." The guests fell silent. Maya turned toward the band, nodded politely, and walked gracefully out of the ballroom. But what followed was not silence, it was panic. "Where is she going?" whispered one of the Callaway lawyers. "She's not leaving, is she? She hasn't signed the—" "James, fix this," Veronica snapped. But James Jr. was already on his phone. "Maya, please wait. We didn't know. She didn't know who you were." Maya didn't answer. She got into her car. An emergency boardroom meeting was called that same night. Half of the Callaway executives flew into the city from their estates. Sweat ran down foreheads in rooms that were usually ice-cold from over-conditioning. No one laughed now. 3 hours later, Maya stood in a modern glass conference room overlooking Manhattan's glowing skyline. No tray in her hand. No forced smile. Just authority. "Let's clarify something," she said. "You didn't forget who I was. You didn't know who I was. Because to you, a woman like me could only be here to serve, not to lead." "Maya, please," James Sr. interjected. "This was not intentional. I built Coulson Tech from nothing. While working 3 jobs, putting myself through school, and cleaning toilets just like the one I used at your event. Don't talk to me about intentions. Talk to me about respect." The room was dead silent. "You wanted access to my encryption tech. You just lost it." Gasps. The kind that choke from throats and end in stutters. James Jr. stood. "You can't just walk away from this. That tech saves lives, protects governments, stabilizes." "I can. I did. And someone else will benefit from it, someone who sees the woman behind the work." She turned to leave, heels clicking like punctuation marks. But a twist was waiting. By noon the next day, the story was everywhere. Not because Maya leaked it, but because one of the waiters, who witnessed everything, posted the video online. It went viral. Headlines read, "Black CEO mistaken for servant at white billionaire's gala. $900 million deal cancelled after racial incident. Power moves. The woman who walked away from a fortune to stand for dignity." The Callaways tried to contain the fire. PR firms were called. Apologies were drafted and redrafted. But the damage wasn't just reputational, it was financial. Within 48 hours, 3 other companies pulled out of partnerships with the Callaways. Stocks dipped. Board members panicked. Meanwhile, Maya received an invitation from the United Nations to speak on business ethics and diversity in corporate power. When she stepped on that global stage weeks later, she wasn't just a CEO. She was a movement. Her voice was clear, honest. This isn't about revenge. It's about reminder that humanity must come before hierarchy. That you can't profit off innovation while ignoring the people behind it. Especially when they don't look like you. The crowd erupted. Meanwhile, back in the States, Veronica Callaway was under pressure to resign from the board she sat on. One of her foundation sponsors, a key investor, issued a statement condemning her behavior. The Callaway mansion remained lit that night, but there was no laughter in the halls. Maya, on the other hand, met with 3 new investors, all of whom had seen not just a scandal, but strength. She negotiated a new deal that made her company the central provider of encrypted communication for a coalition of hospitals, legal networks, and even humanitarian aid groups. And at her next speaking engagement, a young black girl walked up to her, starstruck. "You really said no to all that money?" the girl asked. Maya smiled. "Yes. Because sometimes you have to choose dignity over dollars. And when you do, the right kind of wealth follows." The girl grinned. "I want to be like you." Maya bent down slightly. "Then be better. Be bold. And never let anyone hand you a tray you didn't ask for." Moral lesson. Respect is not earned by wealth, it is earned by humanity. Never judge a person by their appearance. Always value substance over status. The world must stop seeing color as a signal of worth. Real power lies in the courage to walk away from disrespect, even when the price is high. This story was proudly brought to you by Elliot Stories. Catch you on the next one. Elliot Story appreciates.